Is it happening? What's happening? Hello? Is it working? I think it is. It says that I'm on. So if you are here, this is my first time doing it. It turned out that my my computer was not quite set up for this. So we're here, and hopefully some of you will be joining me tonight. Friday night, it's been a pretty crazy week and a lot of stress going on. And so we're just trying to, be yogic about all of it. And it's been really wonderful seeing Ari and Darby and Christy and everyone streaming. It's very lonely being in the studio by myself tonight. But again, the hope is that some of you can be here and that we can, do this together. So assuming that you can see me and everything, I'm still trying to familiarize myself with all of this. But we are going to do a very gentle yin class tonight, and yin yoga is just deep mindful stretching. We usually hold the poses about 2 to 4 minutes. Obviously come out if you need to. Props, so just a comfortable surface. If you have a yoga mat, that's great, but a carpet or a rug is wonderful too. And then a blanket or a towel. And the nice thing about the yin is that you can pretty much use anything for props. And we're going to fold this in half, so it kind of looks like a little bit of a square. And then if you have a couple of blocks, you also can use books. You can also put pillows, like if you've got couch cushions, you can do that. Okay, good. Lisa, thank you, Lisa. Lisa's here. She did that. So we're actually going to start. The first few poses are going to really focus on the heart, the lungs, the respiratory system, because obviously, we're feeling a lot of anxiety and stress. We feel that in the heart, the lungs, the chest. And so the first few poses are really going to focus on that, on opening up the capacity of the lungs, the heart, the breath. And so I'm just going to have to bear with me as I adjust this camera around since we're pretty low in this practice. So you're going to sit down in front of your blanket. So it's this nice little square right by your butt. And when you lay back, you want your shoulders to come off. The shoulders are on the mat. Arms are out. You can bend your elbows into goalposts. And then you can take the legs and either do a soles of the feet together, maybe putting the blocks under the thighs, or you can stretch the legs out and put the feet up. So this gives us a little bit of a mild inversion as well as a heart opener. And if this is too much for your upper spine, you can just move that so it's under the head. So just wanting to be somewhere where we can start to open up through the chest, start to slow down the breath. And again, we want the shoulders down and the head down. So there's no tension through the neck. There's no tension through the shoulders. I'm not used to taking class while I teach, so I may pop up periodically, but just listen to my voice and take care of your body. So just find a position, like I said, where the emphasis is on the heart lifting, the shoulders down, either soles of the feet together, supported, or legs up. I'm going to go with this, I think, today because that feels really good. And then just start to slow down your breath. So take a big breath in through your nose and open out through the mouth. So you stay in the pose, but I'm going to keep talking to you. And again, take a big breath in, fill the belly, and then open mouth, completely release. And this time, inhale, fill all the way up. Hold the breath at the top, roll the shoulders into the mat, and then when you need to let go, open mouth, completely release. And now close your eyes if you haven't already. I'm not doing anything interesting. You just need to focus on your breath. I will tell you when it's time to move. So just let yourself really settle. So roll the shoulders down, soften the jaw, and focus your breath. So as you inhale, it moves from the belly up into the chest, and then exhale from the chest down into the belly. And as the breath starts to settle, maybe begin to connect to a longer exhale. So the exhale is where we lower the heart rate, we lower the blood pressure. And I think we all need that after this week. So just take a few good breaths in your gentle heart opener. Again, always modify if you need to, make more support. You can go a little deeper. But right now we're just focusing on a little bit of open heart with some slow breath. Keep those eyes closed. We'll stay here a little bit longer, and you're always welcome to add music if you'd like. But just for now, just take a few more. Just relax, slow down. Feel the back body relaxing, the shoulders, the face. How slow can your breath get? Relaxing the head, the jaw. And in yin, we often stay pretty still, obviously ignoring my popping in and out and up and down. But we want to let our body slow down. And now more than ever, lowering that stress response, breathing into the heart. Good, and any wiggling you need to do. Take a couple more breaths with you. It's nice to know we're all breathing together. You know, I miss your faces here with me right now. And then all together again, let's take a big, big inhale. Fill everything up. Again, a little hold at the top. Sip in the breath. Hold, hold. And then a big let your feet find the mat. And then very gently roll to one side. And you can pause in fetal pose. And when you're ready to press up, we're going to move into a supported puppy dog stretch, or you don't have to support. So again, in yin, we tend to hold, but if between poses you need to move around, you're welcome to do that. So if you want to take a few cat-cows here, or circles, anything that feels good. And then we'll move into puppy dog. So if you want to use your blocks or your pillows, you can dig the elbows into the blocks so they're flat and about shoulder distance, and then start to melt the heart. If you don't want to use props here, then you walk the hands out, stick the sit bones up, let the forehead settle. So if you want a little more, you can lift up through the shoulders, lift up through the elbows, or just start to lower the forearms. Belly draws in, you can have your toes tucked, fingers spread. And again, any wiggling around. This is great to open the upper back. Again, you stay in the pose. I just want to make sure you can hear my voice clearly. So again, the shoulders are on the back, the belly is in. And if it starts to feel like you can't breathe, then you can always back out. And from here, you can just settle into a child's pose. Or again, if you find you want a little more and you want to take a down dog, that's fine too. But we will be here for a few more breaths. So once you kind of wiggle and settle, start to come back to that exhale. So really tuning into the exhale right now. This week, you know, it started with a big full moon. We had that full moon on Monday, and then just so much change so fast this week. And today is Friday the 13th, which is actually a goddess celebration day. And so it's a good day again to turn in and really nourish yourself, take care of yourself, take care of each other. So just being in the heart, being in the breath. So stay in your puppy stretch, a few more deep breaths, letting everything slow down. I love being assaulted by your dog. The comments distract me. Maybe that's why it's better for me to do the poses with you, so I'm not chatting with the comments. Ribs and belly draw in. I always forget that here. Relax your face. Soft jaw. Few more slow breaths. Again, if it gets to be too much, you can adjust, modify, or you're welcome to take a child's pose or a down dog. And again, it's not about the deepest stretch. It's where we can breathe, practice mindfulness. So last few breaths. Roll the shoulders away from your ears. Let the belly draw in. Good, and then take another big breath. So when we inhale, we hold that breath. We're also increasing our lung capacity. So pausing, filling the lungs, a little bit of a hold. And then open mouth, exhale. And as you complete that exhale, slowly start to roll up. And so again, if between poses here, you want to take a little stretch, a little down dog, a little movement. Otherwise, we're moving onto the belly for Sphinx. And so this is flat on the belly. If for some reason you can't comfortably do this, I'm going to kick over the candle that no one can even really see. Elbows under shoulders, fingers spread. So the tops of the feet are down, the pelvis is down. And we're gently lifting the chest. Fingers spread, shoulders on the back. So you can come back to puppy dog, you can come back to a down dog. It's not comfortable to be on your belly like this. You can always look down a little. But if you're like me and you've spent a lot of time, more time than usual, on the computer this week, just keeping up with the news, and obviously with the studio, we're trying to be very updated and make sure we've got the best options for everyone. So this is really good to open everything up. Again, keeping that wonderful respiratory health, releasing some of the stress. You can shake out the head, soften the jaw. Again, really spreading the fingers. Now, those of you who can access the upper spine a little easier, you can stretch one arm out at a time and lift up into seal. So this is not like an upward dog. The pelvis is down. The fingers are spread. The chest is lifting. This is too much for me. But for some of you, I know you're beautiful open hearts. You can tune in there. Otherwise being here. And again, if this gets to be too much, you can always just take a little crocodile, make a little pillow with your hands, rock out your hips, soften the jaw. So again, you stay there for a few breaths. Just gonna check in, just make sure there's no questions. Aww. Keep the shoulders on the back. Breathing into your Sphinx or your seal. And again, if there's any other thing here that would feel better, a little cobra, that's fine too. We're just really trying to be somewhere we can breathe into the upper spine. Releasing the neck, softening the jaw, the tops of the feet are down. And take a big inhale. Open mouth, let it go. And then just for a moment, make that little crocodile. Place your forehead down, rock out your hips. And then we're going to stay here on the belly, but we're going to draw, so I'll start with my left. We're going to draw the left knee up. So we're drawing the knee up. So the pelvis is down, so it almost looks like a half frog. Can you see my leg here? So it almost looks like a half frog. Pelvis draws down. You can stay on your forearm. So this is for a lot of us, we'll release the psoas, start to open up the hip. Breathing here, so a little bit of heart action. We're actually going to go into a twist from here, a little fancy version I recently learned that I really like. Get a little cleansing twist in. Just taking a few breaths here, really drawing the pelvis down, lifting the chest. And if this is too much to have your knee at this angle, you can just lay on your back and hug that left knee in. So another couple of breaths here. And then we're going to stretch the left arm out. So you can watch me for a second because it's a little bit fancy. And the right hand's going to grab the left knee and we're going to roll onto the back. So left arm is out to the left. You can stretch the right leg down the midline. We've got that left knee over. So you can always put your block or your prop underneath that knee. Head can stay neutral or roll towards the hands. So, and if this is too much, again, you can always just hug that left knee in and then pull it over to the right, if that's a little bit of an easier transition. So that's what we're doing. So you stay there and breathe. I'm just going to check in with comments if there are any questions about that. Good. So twisting is so important as well. This is a nice twist to release the mid back and the upper back. So getting into the internal organs, into the gut health. Twists also offer us some clarity. So just breathing into the twist. And again, whatever feels good for your head. Soften the jaw. And again, you can always put a pillow or some support under that knee. And again, if this just seems like too much of a crazy twist, you can always just do something like a windshield wiper and just drop the knees over. Just a couple more breaths. I'm going to knock this candle over. I got a good pop there. Funny talking to an empty room. I have a 6-year-old though, so I'm used to feeling like no one's listening to me. Can you let things settle a little more? Get a little heavier. And so even here, we're still getting that nice stretch, opening through the chest here, reaching that left arm out. Again, whatever feels good for your head. Inhale through the nose. Open mouth. So we're going to try to exit the way we entered. So that little fancy roll back over to the left. Coming back up onto the forearms. Slide the left leg back. And again, you can do a little wiggle here in crocodile. You can be on your forearms. Again, if you want a little stretch, you can take a couple cobras. Just pause, be still. Very powerful for our nervous system to have the belly on the earth. So maybe just feeling into that. And then when we're ready, we'll come back up to the forearms. So we're going to bring the right leg up. So this is the side you can't really see. So hopefully, it's the same on the other side, which oddly enough, this hip flexor is a lot tighter right now. So the knees coming up, we're on the forearms. You can also lower the head. Again, if this is too much for you, just lie on the back and hug the right knee in. You can even almost take it kind of out to the side, almost like a happy baby. And you're going to kind of get into that same area. So that's a good option too. If you can't be on your belly, or if this is just not okay for your knee, also any extra padding you'd like to add. We're not here too long, just drawing the pelvis down, rolling the shoulders back. Shake out your head. And one of my teachers talks about the psoas as being the fear muscle. And so when we open up the psoas, the hips, the hip flexors, they tighten up and we go into protective mode. And so helping to soften through those areas. Take a deep breath. And then as you let it go, so right arm reaches out, left arm grabs right knee, and then we're going to roll it down onto the back. Am I still on the camera? Like all over the place. And again, if this is you're just not sure what's going on and it's just feeling awkward, just hug the right knee in and then cross it over. Rolling the shoulders down. So right shoulder draws down. You can even bend the elbow. Soften your face. Comfortable position for the neck. Breathing to this side of organs and releasing the spine. So you stay there. I'm just going to check in a little bit. Good. A few more breaths. So one side might be tighter than the other. And and that's life. And so again, if you need to take that windshield wiper variation, or if there's anything you can do, so you can just really keep that slow breath going. And let's take another big breath in together. Full belly. And then let it go. So again, exiting the same way if you can. Roll to the right. And slide the right leg back. Back to the forearms one more time. So maybe you're resting in crocodile or lifting into cobra. Or again, taking your Sphinx, just a couple more breaths. Inhale. And then as you exhale, slide the hands down and we'll lift to the knees one more time. So if you want to pad the knees again, and this time we'll take our supported child's pose. So you can pad the knees, you can grab your blocks, you can place it under the forehead. So knees comfortably wide, big toes together, hips towards the heels. On the forearms or arms stretched out. I like the block under the forehead. It releases the neck. And when you sort of draw the skin towards the nose, it just feels really good in that third eye point. Now, again, if being on your knees isn't appropriate, you can lie on your back. And again, just hug the knees in or take a happy baby. So those are options, always options. And that's the thing we have to remember, even in these times of uncertainty and fear, you know, and the unknown, we always have options. And that's one of the beautiful things about maintaining our yoga practice right now is that reminder that we get to choose where to focus our attention. And for right now, it's on the breath, on the kidneys, the adrenals, the back body. And again, if you need any movement, you can roll the forehead, rock the hips, soften the jaw. Again, if this gets to be too much, come onto your back or just listen to your body. Like I said, if you feel like you need a little movement tonight, you can take that. You stay there, a couple more breaths. Just checking in. Relax your hips, soften your jaw. Enjoying your child's pose or your happy baby. Back to your breath. And again, at any point you're feeling discomfort into the knees, please adjust. If you're happy and can stay here, then just let yourself settle in a little more. Feel free to sigh out the mouth. And let's take a big breath in. And again, sigh it out. Just release your hips, release your belly. And let yourself roll it on up. So we're going to turn, or yeah, you can stay facing this way. I'm going to turn. And bring the soles of the feet together. So our Baddha Konasana. And you can sit up on blankets. You're always welcome to put blocks under the thighs. You can hold on to the ankles or hold behind and lift your chest, and you can stay just like that, or you can start to forward fold from the side too. And so you just want the heels a comfortable distance from the pelvis. You can also use blocks here or your books or anything. You can kind of stack them up. Place the forehead down. It's one thing I really like here. So shoulders are away from the ears. Belly is softly towards the spine. Shoulders on the back. Bound angle pose, our butterfly position. So the sit bones are grounded, so you can always wiggle or add some extra support underneath your bottom. And just breathe. So have you checked in with the exhale lately? Letting the exhale get a little more spacious. So the waning cycle of the moon is always, the exhale time of the month. So we are in the exhale. Next week and the next week, we're heading into the spring equinox. These are the last days of winter. Here in LA, it's very rainy and cold. And again, it just definitely feels like things are shifting. There's a purifying, cleansing, clearing available during this waning cycle. And this is the best time of the month, honestly, to turn inward, to do a little less, to slow down. Because the spring equinox tends to bring in the fire element. And so enjoying these last days of water, the dissolving water element. And again, if any reason this is too much for you, you're also still welcome to lie on the back, knees to chest, or happy baby as a variation for this one too. So just a few more breaths. You can always put extra support under the thighs, the hips, the knees. I think I'm finally starting to calm down too. I was really nervous. And then also I couldn't get the camera working, and that's how this week's been, right? Just not prepared. If you think you're prepared, we're not prepared. So thank goodness for yoga. Yin Yoga on a rainy Friday, the 13th. Take another breath. Then let it go. Then roll yourself up. We're going to open up the side body. So from your bound angle, stretch your right leg out, and it can just be a little bit at an angle. And then we're going to reach the right arm down the right leg, and you can just rest it. You can keep the left hand on the left thigh. You can be just like this. If you want a little more, you can start to roll the chest open. You can bring your top arm up. You can use your blocks to kind of catch the head, or hold on to the toe. You can place it inside to support. So belly in, chest open, rolling the shoulders down. So you can always fold a little more support under the right knee if that's too much. You can look down, but what we're looking for here is the left side of the chest opening. So we're opening the lungs, we're opening the heart, soft jaw, and any support under your thighs, under knees. You can make a, kind of just put your right hand up too and hold your head. So yin poses can be as chill or as intense as you want, or as your body needs. So breathing into the side body, or half straddle position. You can always look down And also the left hand can even come behind the back so that we're getting a little bit more of a chest opener on the left side, but not adding too much weight to the shoulder. You hear the rain outside? I'm not sure how good the sound is. I've spent almost every Friday night at the studio for 13 years. It is so interesting to be here by myself in the room. Take a deep inhale. Exhale. Thank goodness for yoga. Slowly roll it up. And then you just want to take a minute to bend the knees and just kind of rock a little bit here. Release the back. Curl in. And then we'll find side two of our half straddle. So we're going to stretch the left leg out, and then that right leg drops open. So it can be as wide as is comfortable, even just slightly wide, sit bones down and back, belly draws in. And then again, we're lengthening up and over the leg. And so right hand can stay on the right thigh. You can come to the low back. You can reach the top arm up. You can open. You can use your block for your head or for your arm, however that works for you. Trying to make props fairly minimal for at least this first video, just because I'm not sure how many of us have our yoga setups yet. So hopefully you're able to find some books or pillows. So a few more breaths. One side of the body might be tighter than the other. Gaze can be up or down. And that bottom leg, you don't have to hyper flex the foot, because in Yin traditionally we don't try to over activate the musculature, but we don't want the foot flopping. So just toes awake, jaw soft. So here, opening up the right rib instead of the lung, think of it right now, the thymus, all those organs working so hard to keep us healthy and safe and breathing and purifying. So give them a little bit of help with that. Okay, take another breath. Exhale. And then rise up. So again, you can draw the legs in for a moment. Give yourself a break. We're going to take a full straddle, but that means different things for everybody. I usually do recommend sitting up on something here because we want the pelvis to be neutral. And you can have your legs even just, mat distance apart, just a little wider than usual. Or you can go for however wide you can comfortably have it. And again, we're not hyper flexing the toes. The toes are pointing up, the knees are pointing up, and the pelvis is down. So we're lengthening here. And you can always keep the hands behind you. You can even sit up against the wall and just breathe. And you're going to open up your hips, hamstrings, quads. And here we're lifting through the spine. But then if you do want to explore moving forward, right, so we're not bending from the back, right, we're hinging forward from the hips. And just start slow. Soften your knees, place your hands down. Your blocks or towels can always catch your forearms. You can stack them up for the head. Relax the shoulders, soften the jaw. And again, if at any point you need to shorten your stance, you can do that. You can even bend the knees quite a bit here, or put, your support underneath the knees. And then again, any other support. So a lot of times when I do this at home, I've got like pillows and blankets and just everything supported here. Our straddle pose. And I just like to let my hands drop open. Again, I like placing the forehead down. You can just relax, adjust if you need to, come out of it if you need to. You can just roll on the back with the knees to chest, or just take a shorter stance. Again, making sure the shoulders are drawing down. Again, toes facing up. Doesn't need to be the deepest forward fold, but just such an efficient shape for opening up the entire lower and back body. Folding forward from the spine. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not from the spine, from the hips. Not from the spine. It's much easier to garble your language when you're not being recorded. I have any respect now for all the platforms that do the streaming. I didn't expect it to feel this sort of nerve-wracking. It's good. Growth for all of us outside the comfort zone. You stay there, last few breaths. We're just going to check in with our questions or with our time. Okay, good. A few more breaths. And our straddle forward fold, our wide leg forward fold. And again, you can always be up against the wall, always shorten the stance, or just lie on the back. Inhale. And exhale. And let's roll it on up. You can move your props, bend your knees. So we're going to return to the back. You can also do at the wall, or if you have a couch or chair. So we're going to take supported bridge with the option of supported shoulder stand. And you can also, like I said, do that with the legs held by the wall or by a chair. But you can start by lying on the back. Feet are hip width distance. And then lift your hips, put the block or pillow or whatever it is. We're just looking for the hips to be lifted enough so that the hips are higher than the heart and it's higher than the head. So the shoulders, again, are on the back. And you can walk your feet out and just bring the knees together here. You can also stretch the legs out long. And then, as I was saying, if you have a chair nearby or the wall nearby, you can start to draw the knees in and place the legs up. And you can do this here on the mat. It's going to be a little bit more effortful without support. This is actually really nice to do with the legs up the wall or the legs on a chair. Makes it more restorative. We are going to be here for a few minutes. So if that gets to be too much, just placing the feet down or stretching the legs out. And of course, if you have a favorite variation of this pose, any of these poses I should have mentioned, please do what feels good. And you can also just have, like I said, like a little fold. Just fold, your towel or blanket a little bit. So just the hips are lifted just a little. And again, when we have that lift, we help to activate the thyroid gland. It's, again, really good for the upper spine for the rounding we do. So you're still in the pose. Again, I just popped up to chat a little bit. But you basically want to have the supported inversion and the supported heart opener. And so bridge is one of my favorite poses in both yin and active yoga. But we are going to spend a couple moments here. So whether you're just on the block with the feet on the mat or the legs up, or again at the wall Or I really like having, I'm step out of view for 1 second, sorry. Having a chair, and I actually had that because I thought the camera would go on it, but that didn't work out that well. This can be really nice too, to have the chair or the couch. And then, like I said, you would lift up the hips on the block, and then you can set them up on the chair. This is one of my favorites, actually. So you're getting a full inversion, and again, it's just one of the shapes that's so nourishing, so tonifying for all of the systems. One of yoga's not so secrets to health and wellness is that we go upside down. We move the spine and we go upside down. And so we do want to be here for a little bit. So I want you to be as comfy as you can be. Gather the shoulders, soften the jaw. Any support you have. And if this is, again, too much to have the block, then just take your legs up the couch or just take your legs up the wall. So you're still there. I'm hopping around the way I do. I will work on that for our online videos. But I feel funny just not looking at you because you're out there. So slow down the breath. And this is a great pose for pranayama. So if you want to start to count the breath, count your inhale, count your exhale. We're not forcing, we're not judging, we're not pushing. Just take a few rounds of counting the inhale up and the exhale down. And if you've been feeling really anxious this week, it can be enough just to try to balance the breath. So if you're inhaling 4, exhaling 3, just to get the exhale to 4. If you're able to extend the exhale by like 1 or 2, or if you 3 or 4, that's really powerful as well. So you'd inhale for 4 and then exhale for 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. But if you're not creating any tension, just letting the eyes be closed, letting the focus be on the breath. The body is inverted, the heart is opening. So you're just focusing on the breath, and that's going to calm the mind. It can help to nourish the system and just make the poses even more effective. So I'll give you a couple minutes to just focus on your breath. Slow everything down. And if possible, let's see if we can get that exhale extended. And I'll come back here with you guys and take a few breaths. I forgot where the candle was. It's a sign my nervous system is slowing down. And if you're new to practicing at home, especially for an hour, it's very common to get distracted. It's like as soon as my body starts to settle, my brain's like, hey, did you leave that candle on? Did you leave the stove on? Did you answer that email? And that's usually an indication that I need to just slow down and breathe, and that can wait. Unless you smell smoke or something like that, the brain just really doesn't want us to calm down. We've really wired our brains for stress. So just breathing deeper. You can give yourself a few minutes. You can give yourself an hour, especially after this last week or so. And again, if this is getting to be too much, you can remove the block and just have the legs on a chair or on the wall. You can place the feet down, or you can just again lie on the back and hug the knees in or bring the soles of the feet together. A few more rounds of breath. And stay where you are, stay with the breath. Deep breathing. Just a few more. Okay, let's take a big breath in, bigger than we've taken. All practice. Fill your belly, fill your chest. Hold, hold, hold. And then exhale everything completely out. And so depending on which variation you're in, if you have the block underneath the hips, you want to probably bring the feet down before you remove it. So softening the knees, lifting the hips, sliding the block out. And then as you're ready, you can draw the knees into the chest. You can roll away from the wall. And just having knees to chest. This is our Uppanasana. And if you haven't already visited Happy Baby, you can do that now too. You can also hold behind the hamstrings as you pull the knees in. And giving yourself a little rock or just gently hugging, because you deserve a hug. And if maybe someone hasn't hugged you today because of, social isolation, you can give yourself a big hug. I'm sending you a big hug. We're all giving a big hug. And then I just want you to take the next minute or two and just consider if the body needs anything else. So if you want to take another twist, you can take a simple twist here. If, again, your body's just really craving a down dog or another child's pose. We're going to start to think about our final relaxation. And so if you had the block under your hips, but your legs are at the wall, you can always bring the legs back up with the spine down. Because traditionally for Shavasana, we want the spine to be neutral. But again, if you want to take the shape we started with, if you want to lie over a bolster or a blanket, you can do that. If you want to sit and meditate, you can do that. I'm going to kind of sit and meditate with you all. But just give yourself the next minute or two to settle into a Shavasana that feels good, a final relaxation. And it won't be too long of a Shavasana, but we do want to give ourselves a few minutes to just receive the practice, let everything kind of settle. And even if that's a seated meditation, that's fine too. So just take a few more breaths. Bell is still up there, so I'm just going to step out of screen real quick, grab the bell, turn down the lights. So just let yourself, if you haven't been there already, find a final relaxation position. So whether that's legs up the wall or on the chair, you're sitting in meditation. If you can lie on your belly, again, lying on the belly, lie on your side, lie on your back, but please do give yourself a few minutes of a final relaxation. I know the yin practice is a little more calm than some of the active classes, but especially now, we really need those moments of stillness and calmness. And so just relaxing the shoulders, softening the jaw. And take a big inhale, fill your belly, fill your heart. Hold the energy at the top of the heart, and then open mouth. Let it all go. And I'd like you to focus your attention at your low belly or your heart or your third eye. So don't overthink it. Just pick whatever feels more natural. And just really allow your attention to move there. So in the belly, in the heart, in the third eye. And just focus with gratitude. As your body softens, as your body releases, can you just flood your system with gratitude? Because gratitude is what sustains us. And gratitude is not, the rose-colored glasses, well, it could be worse, or that's not gratitude. Gratitude is part of the process. And in Christy's practice this morning, she talked about the blessing in the scary costume. And that's the practice of gratitude, finding, recognizing, seeing the blessings. I love teaching my Friday night classes, and I miss you guys, but it's really cool that my friend in Pennsylvania and my sister and other folks from around the country are joining us tonight. That's a blessing, that we have the capability to do this, that we can stay connected in times of isolation because our ancestors could not. And other little sweet things too. I had some particularly good dark chocolate almonds today, so always grateful for that. I did get a good stash of them at the store. It's very important. And, even today, getting to practice today, maybe your favorite tea, maybe you got that, roll of toilet paper. And just focusing on the gratitude, letting it flood you. And if you're too overwhelmed to think of things you're grateful for today, like you're just so overwhelmed, then just what would gratitude look like? Would it have a texture? Would it have a color? Would it have a symbol? And fill your heart, your belly, your third eye with that. Just let that color, that symbol, that texture just fill you, flood you, place this sweet sort of protective layering around us. And it, again, doesn't protect us from life on life's terms, but it can help us to find the sweetness and to slow down and respond versus react. So just take a few more moments to just, without forcing, without pushing, just what would it be like to let that gratitude just cover you, infuse your blood and your bones and your muscles and your lungs and your heart, and just filling all of these tender organs, all this tender skin, and these precious human bodies, these fragile but resilient human bodies, with just so much gratitude for moving and breathing and stretching, and just rest in that deep, deep gratitude, even if you're just practicing. Because it's okay if you don't feel grateful every day, but it's a practice, just like our stretches. So you are welcome to stay here as long as you want. If it is your Friday night and you got nowhere to go, then just stay here. If you found a juicy, grateful cocoon. But if you are, feeling ready to move out of the practice, go ahead and take a big, big inhale. Fill your heart. Hold, hold, hold. Sip in a little more, and then sigh out. Just staying connected to that area, infused with gratitude. And just as you start to deepen your breath and invite movement back, like let that gratitude move out into your limbs, into your fingers, your toes. Just very sweetly, gently starting to move, wiggle, stretch. And if you're in that, half asleep place, you can just roll into fetal pose and just hang out there. If you're seated in meditation, you can kind of shift around, but give yourself a minute or two to find a comfortable seat. And I just want to offer my gratitude to those of you who joined me live tonight. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your presence. Anyone who watches this later, thank you to our community, to our family, our friends, to the Yoga Blend staff, Christy in particular, for again allowing us to continue to share the practice. And we're so grateful, and we're continuing to work on how to bring more classes and kind of keep things moving. We do have a Venmo for Yoga Blend, so if you do feel called to offer a donation, we appreciate it. But again, I know this is challenging times for a lot of us, so we're here and we're grateful for you, and we're going to keep practicing and keep breathing and finding those sweet blessings, finding the gratitude, because that's what this is all about. So please sit up nice and tall. Inhale the hands to the heart if they're not there already, and just bowing and bowing together. And if you practice, here with me on Friday night or with us, again, maybe just sort of imagine yourself in this space. Maybe you're familiar with the students you usually see and the faces, and just feeling our community, feeling the connection. I'm so grateful to still be connected. Thank you all so much for being here. Take another deep breath in. Open mouth. Om Shanti, peace. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May we all be safe, and we all be happy, healthy, free. May we contribute to that happiness and health for all beings. Thank you for being here. I bow to you. Namaste. And I hope to see you soon. And Nicole is teaching a 9:45 stretch class tomorrow, and so please join her for another deep, juicy stretch. And we will hopefully see you soon, and hopefully we'll get to be back on the mat together. But until then, if you have any questions or anything, let us know. We're here for you. Have a beautiful Friday. Have a beautiful weekend, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much, and thank you to, there's more things. Thank you to everybody who is here tonight. Again, some of you locally, some of you far away. I really appreciate it. And I'll be seeing you soon. So take care, and namaste.